we have Mr. Rob. His name is Terror. Let us see if we can invite him. You want to join us, Mr. Rob? Mr. Terror, you wanna join us? How we can let him talk? Let's see.
Hey, hello.
All right, Rob. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing very good. How are you, CP?
I'm fine. So you are a Muslim, right?
Yeah.
All right. What do you think about what we are saying about the hadith? It says there's a verse in the Quran. It says, أيها المدثر. You know, I don't know if you know it.
Yes, I'm aware of the
Okay.
verse.
So what rajis mean?
Rajis is referring to the idols, as the early Muslims explained.
All right.
So it's commanding Muhammad alayhi afdalus salati wassalam to avoid the idols, essentially.
So he was not avoiding the idol before.
No, he was a polytheist, part of his people, and then Allah commanded him to stop worshipping the idols in conjunction to his message. The early Muslims didn't have a problem.
So how Allah he chose someone he is a polytheist to be his prophet? He is a polytheist until that moment.
Well, it's not impossible because, you know, there's verses in the Quran where it says, وَوَجَدَكَ ضَالًّا فَهَدَى. There's other prophets in the Quran, such as Yunus, which says, سُبْحَانَكَ رَبِّي إِنِّي كُنْتُ مِنَ الظَّالِمِينَ, and so on and so forth. You know, the early Muslims didn't have a problem with prophets being polytheists or sinners and whatnot. But the conjunction here is, as Ibn Taymiyyah said, for example, that Allah does not leave them upon misguidance and actually corrects them as they go. So, you know, it is not logically impossible for the Prophet to have not been a, you know, complete devout monotheist and have made mistakes throughout his prophethood.
I will go with you, but you know, isn't it the Quran says that the one who Allah misguide, no guidance for him? So who is the one who misguide Muhammad?
Yeah, this is in relation to Qadr. Essentially how it works.
But who is the one who misguided Muhammad before this point and made him believe in the pagan gods?
Qadr, right? There's primary causation and there's secondary causation.
Okay,
so how this works is that in Allah's eternal knowledge, there's something called al-qalam. He wrote the decree of what will happen in the future, and this decree is based on what the actions of the people have done throughout the whole course of human history. Essentially, when Muhammad, for example, he committed polytheism, sins, and also the other prophets, so on and so forth. This was recorded in Lawh al-Mahfuz. And the Lawh al-Mahfuz is a record of all that will happen. And so, you know, Allah would be a primary cause for the guidance of misguidance. But this is in conjunction of the taysir, in which the secondary cause is committing sins and thus persisting on either guidance or misguidance.
Okay, so but Lawh al-Mahfuz is not only about information is written there, it's about destiny, which means it's your God.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Information is
but why Allah he made a destiny for Muhammad to worship idols? What's the point? Why he made him?
Understanding. So the Lawh al-Mahfuz, what it does is it records all eternal future events, right? So anything that Allah knows in his eternal knowledge that will happen, this is recorded in the Lawh. So it is not a causal force of events regarding the conjunction of what happened in the earth, right? So, for example, Allah in His eternal
destiny,
knowledge that
hold on, destiny. Destiny is not a record. Destiny is not a record only. It is your God. He decides for you, correct?
No. In Islam, see, there are four aspects of qadr. There's ilm, there is kitaba, and there's khalq, which is referring to the creation of the actions of the people. And then there's what is it? Ilm, kitaba, khalq, and mashi'a, will. Right.
Well, all of them actually, in fact, all of those is one thing. But the Muslim, they try to make philosophy out of it. But in the end of the day, it's one thing. It's one thing.
They're part of. No. Listen. So qadr is made up for these four aspects. You can't like deny one of these aspects and you know, be a Muslim, because that's becoming a qadari essentially. You know who the qadariya are, of course, right?
No, teach me. Go ahead.
Okay, the Qadariya are a sect of deviants according to traditionalist Islamic theology, which denied aspects of qadr. So, for example, they've denied the foreknowledge of Allah, that Allah knows all future events. And some of them denied the khalq of Allah, that Allah creates the actions. The Ash'ari, they also believe in occasionalism, in which Allah directly causes the action. And, you know, so on and so forth. So these four aspects of qadr...
But how come they are wrong? They are right. Your God, Allah, do not know the future. Do He know?
I mean, yeah, that's a heretical view in Orthodox theology. But
No, this is true. This is true. As an example, if we go in the Quran right now, if you remember in the chapter of Al-Anfal, it says Allah, He gave a certain number, like 100 of you can fight 1,000, correct?
Yeah, I know the verse.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is talking about relative taqdir.
What
So
relative? This is not relative. It says وَعَلِمَ وَالْآنَ عَلِمَ الآن.
Yeah, I'll explain it.
And
No problem.
مضافا. So now Allah, He just found out that you have a weakness. So now He abrogated the number. So if Allah, He knew, if He knew that you are weak, well, He will not ask you to fight 10 when you cannot fight
right?
10. Yeah.
Yeah. So essentially this relates to relative taqdir. What that means is that وَالْآنَ عَلِمَ is related, is a relative to the environment of the people at the time, right? So it is not speaking of the taqdir in His eternal knowledge. It is talking about relative taqdir.
Is Allah knowledge is separated? Is Allah knowledge is separated? Like there's a stages of Allah knowledge?
No, there's as I said, there's absolute knowledge and there's relative knowledge. There's
so who is the one who decides this is not absolute knowledge? Is that because he failed to prove that he had knowledge? So now we try to justify.
It's not about whoever decides, right? Because right now what we have are relative events. Do you understand what relative events are?
Is when Allah He says 10 of you, like one of you can fight 10. Do Allah is that relative to?
Yeah, it's relative to the person who's fighting. It's not relative to the absolute knowledge.
Okay, hold on. Let us say it's relative to. Okay, let us go with this. I will go with you. So if I am God and I say to you, you specifically by name, you can fight 10. But it is you, the same person. I say to you, but you know what? I just found out that you cannot fight 10, so one can fight 2. So I was speaking to the same people in the same time. This is the same event.
No, when you're so there's another verse in the Quran. This is the same. It's related to this. I'll explain it to you so it's much easier, right? Yeah, I get what you're saying on the apparent meaning. Someone might get the impression of that, right? However, if you look at the
so
verse,
you are a person who believes there's a parent. Are you from Batiniyin?
No, dude. There's a difference between batini.
Well, you are the one who says apparent. You are the one who says apparent.
No. You're talking about zahiris now. I don't know if you're conflating between zahiris and
there is
batini.
Zahiri and batini. So which one is you?
Yeah. So okay, this is not batiniya, my friend. Okay, this is not Sufi mysticism.
But you are the one who said to me, it appeared to you, it looked like this, but it means something else.
Okay, listen. The Quran, it says there's ayat that are muhkamat and mutashabihat, right?
So now we have to go to 0. It says Allah told us nobody can understand Allah. So now, but this is clear. This is about numbers. This is about pure mathematics. One can fight 10.
Nobody's saying it's unclear. I'm saying that there's a theological implication in what you're saying, right? So either the implication is correct or it's wrong, because a verse in its apparent could lead to few possible meanings, right?
There's no other meaning.
The apparent of it is not necessarily what the first meaning.
What necessarily?
For example,
there's options now.
I'll give you an example. Let me give you an example, okay? Allahu khalqu kulli shay. Does that mean Allah creates Himself? If I tell you God created everything,
you see, okay, just I will go with you. So, guys, just listen carefully what our friend here, Mr. Rob, said. Allahu khalaqa kulla shay, and he said, does that mean Allah created everything? Because he said Allah created everything. But look what you just said. You just confess now that your God Allah is a thing.
Yeah, Allah is a thing. Are you saying He's nothing?
No. Are you saying Allah is a thing?
No. Listen, dude. Listen. As a Christian, you believe God created everything. Is God a thing?
Listen. No, you as a Muslim, you're a Muslim. You said Allah. You did not say God. You said Allah. Allah created everything. Does that mean Allah created Himself? But by saying that,
that's a question for you, my friend. Listen, you're a Christian.
You use the word Allah. You use the word Allah.
Yeah, dude. It doesn't matter. Right?
So is Allah is a thing? Is Allah is a thing?
Yes, Allah is a thing. Do you believe Allah?
That means He's created. Well, He's a thing.
Okay, so is God a thing?
Okay, hold on. If you are putting
no, Habibi, don't say hold on. Let's ask you a question.
No. Let's stop here. It is you who made Allah a thing. It is you who said Allah is just a.
Since you don't believe Allah is
my friend, it's you who said Allah is a thing. And when the Quran says Allah created everything, that means He created Allah too, because Allah is one of those things.
Allah too.
Yeah, isn't it there's a hadith that says that Allah created Himself from the sweat of the horses?
No, that's a mawdu hadith as far as I know. But
I
either
know.
way,
Anything is embarrassing. Anything is embarrassing. It is
yeah,
mawdu.
anything
It is
embarrassing, Muslims say
okay.
mawdu.
No
You're
problem.
right.
Okay, let us go back
Yeah,
here.
you're right.
Let us focus on here. You know,
Ilm al-hadith doesn't exist. Ilm al-rijal is bullshit.
my friend,
yeah.
my friend, Ilm al-hadith does not exist because Muslims, they play games. As an example, I can find you one hadith is mentioned by 1,000 scholars, it is sahih, and then the guy he comes and he says it's not sahih. So you play with it, you know, as much you want.
Yeah, exactly. It's a game.
So it's a game. You know? Thank you very much. So, but here in the Quran, we have a Quran, and now what you want to do? It says clearly that Allah, He says, one of you can fight 10. And if Allah, if Allah is God, if Allah,
when it comes to understanding the Quran, you look at the earliest tafsir, right? That's how you have epistemic knowledge of how Muslims understood that verse in its historical context, right?
Okay.
If I take a verse in the Bible and I say, for example, God is stupid, He says X and Y, you know, He said make a poop sandwich in Ezekiel or blah blah blah, right? You know, you will say, "Oh, no, my friend, the Bible does not say that. The Bible not say that." Blah,
no,
blah, blah, blah.
The Bible says that they are going to be cursed. They will be suffering, and they will go through horrible time. This is not about God making them eat. This is you will struggle. You will eat from anything. You will.
Okay. So now you're deviating from.
So the verse is so clear there. The verse, but my friend, you are trying to avoid the question. One can fight
friend,
10.
That's not avoiding the question.
One can fight 10. There's no need for interpretation. So there's no need for interpretation. One can fight 10, either yes or no. And then when Allah He says, and you speak Arabic, and now you speak Arabic, it says, الآن خفف الله عنكم وعلم. Do you know what alima mean?
Yeah, alima, yeah. And
okay, when he found out, now he found out.
Yeah, but I have to question what you mean by in relativeness, okay? Because when Allah has absolute knowledge, right, and He's talking about, for example, أنزل القرآن محدث, right? What does محدث mean? Muhdath means it is new relative to you. So the revelation is new relative to you, O Muhammad. For example, let's say Moses. Yeah, Habibi, CP.
All right.
Go with my example.
I'm listening.
Okay. So, for example, when God revealed the 10 Commandments to Moses on Mount Sinai, as you believe, right? Is this revelation muhdath or was it eternal? Is it relatively new to Moses or is it eternal with Allah? Eternal absolute knowledge with God, I mean, because you don't believe Allah is God.
What does have to do with this? What does have to do with this?
No, Habibi, answer the question.
Okay.
Is the revelation to Musa eternal or relative to Musa? تفضل.
I'm not God. I don't know. You see, God, he might, no, let me answer you. Maybe God, He decided at this time. Now He decided to say this. God do not need. Listen. You are being silly now. I'm not insulting you. You are saying that God, before He told. Listen. So God, listen. You are saying to me that your God is very silly. He cannot speak to Moses in the moment, and he cannot.
My God is silly.
Hold on.
My God.
Let me finish my topic. Okay. So you are saying to me that God, before He spoke to Moses, He thought about it 10 million years, and then He wrote it in a book, and then Moses now is created 10 million years after, and now God, He opened His book. He says, "Oh, I said 10,000 years." This is a silly argument. Work only in Islam. This is why you Muslims believe there is a tablet, and Allah He wrote everything in the tablet, and now Allah read it from the tablet, so He can tell Moses what He wrote in the tablet because He's not God. My God, He do not need a tablet. He can come with a command now. There's a command. God, He's saying now, have nothing to do with being eternal or not. The command now given to Moses. So I wasn't with God to say maybe he decided before, but what I know, that God said to Moses, I do not know that God thought about saying to Musa 10 billion years ago. You are fabricating things about God because your God is not able to make a conditions or command in the moment. He have to think about it. He have to write it down. He have a notebook. It's called a tablet. And He put the tablet between the two eyes of the angel Israfil. And why? Because He don't want anyone to read from that tablet. Is that correct? Hello? What happened? He's gone? Where do you go?
CP, one of your admins, he removed you.
Because you are making noise. Making noise. Like, let us speak in a mature way. So
Yeah, listen, CP, I was speaking in a mature way, but
you see, what you said goes for you. What you said goes for you, not for me, because it is your God who wrote everything in a book, and not only he created a pen, and he told the pen to write everything. Is that correct?
Yeah, CP, but you're avoiding the theological question. If you want to jump to like hadith to hadith to topic to topic, you can do that.
No, you are not answering.
I'm a busy man.
Does it say? Does it say in Arabic? وَعَلِمَ. Tell the audience.
Did I ever deny CP? I read to you, Habibi. CP, you're streaming on Rumble. Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay. So everyone can go back to the stream and hear what I said, right? I said وَعَلِمَ. I recited the verse to you.
What alima mean? Translate for me the word alima.
And he knew. Very simple.
In the past, right?
Yes, but it's relative.
Okay, but alima now. Well, ana alima, not in the past now. Now.
No, you said it's in the past.
Okay, no. In the past, and there is the word. Okay, and there is the word al-an. Al-ana at the moment. This is the past. It's in the past in the time of Muhammad, not now. Correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so in the time of Muhammad, does it say? Okay, listen, my friend. Does it say al-an? What al-an mean?
Al-an means now, but I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so Allah now Allah, He enlightened and He knows, He found out. So Allah now, He enlightened your task, and now He found out that you have a weakness. Do Allah knew that they have a weakness from before, or now He found out?
As I said, it's relative, so that's irrelevant.
No, it's not. It's not, because if they went back, they came back. Muhammad, he told them this. So listen. So if Allah, He knew that they have a weakness, do He know it in the morning or afternoon? So we go in the morning.
He knows it in His eternal knowledge, but what's actualized is the actual.
What kind of eternal knowledge change in the morning and the afternoon? So I go to war. They beat me up. I lied to them.
Don't
listen.
CP, why are you getting agitated?
I lied to my audience when I said to them, I'm a prophet. One of you can fight 10. They went there, they lost. They came back. I say, okay, now Allah, He knew that you have a weakness, and He enlightened your task. So this is a clear evidence that Muhammad do not know, and his God do not know the future.
CP, answer the question. It's very simple, right? So do you know what eternal means? Because I asked you like 4 times, but you interrupted me, and it's pretty funny because you're dodging the question.
What eternal?
Yeah, what does eternal mean?
Forever. Whatever ever mean.
Forever in the past, or forever in the future, or both?
Whatever. Forever, as I know, when you say you will live for eternity, you have to have a point of a start.
No, CP, I didn't say everlasting. I said eternity. There's a difference between everlasting and eternity, right? What does eternal mean? Forever in the past and future, or both?
Eternal is a time. Always, it's about.
Eternity is not a time, CP.
It's relative to a person. Relative to the person.
No, CP. Eternity is not a time. Do you think eternity is a time? Is there a time called eternity?
Okay. You Muslims, you believe that Allah Himself is a time. Isn't it true? Okay, you're laughing. Everybody will laugh at you in a second. Aren't you Muslims believe that Allah is the time?
CP, can you send me the book Sex and Allah? It's a very good book.
Is it true? Why are trying to change topic? Is it true that your God Allah? Is it true? You see, you laugh at me when I said to you about the time. When you said to me, eternity is not a time. When you Muslims and your prophet, he says,
yes, that's correct.
Huh?
Eternity is not a time. I already said this.
Is Allah eternal or not?
Yes, He is eternal. His essence is eternal.
Is He the time? Is He the time or not? Is He the time?
No, eternity is not a time.
No. Is Allah is the time?
Allah is the time. You mean the hadith where He says, "In Allah ad-dahr"? Is that what you're talking about?
I'm asking you, is Allah the time?
Allah is not the time itself as a concept. It is when it refers to "In Allah ad-dahr," it means that the dahr is between Allah. Right?
That's false. That's false. It says Allah is the time. Doesn't say it's mean.
But that's referring to the concept of time, right? So when you look at the sky, there's the sun, the moon, the alteration of time. When someone looks at that, right, and he says God controls it, right? So the hadith
is not about God control, my friend. You see how you Muslims you fabricate things.
I'm trying to do sharh for the hadith. It's a very basic lesson. I'm your sheikh.
Listen.
I'm supposed to say hi, sheikh. Okay. My name is Sheikh Rob.
Don't curse the time, for the time is Allah.
الدهر فإن الله الدهر أليس كذلك؟
Okay, so if Allah is the time, then how Allah is not created?
Well, because time is not a creation, it's a concept.
Time is not created? So created?
No, it's not a creation. There's no tangible thing called time. Can
okay, so why Allah, he says, one day for Allah is equal to 1,000 years for you?
Yeah, this is relative, absolute time. It's called Newtonian absolute time.
Okay, so it's relative to Allah. That means Allah have time, correct? Is it a metaphorical thing, or it's real?
Time is a concept. For example, when Allah says He created the heavens and the earth in 6 days, and you even have, God creating the heavens and the earth in 6 days, doesn't necessarily mean 24-hour days, or is the time depending on the taqdeer that He has in that eternal sense.
So we are moving too fast from topic to topic. So now we will go and speak about 24 hours time. Yeah, it is 24. Yes, it's 24 hours. Yes, it is 20. Yes, it is 20. Listen.
See, child porn, CP.
What you said? What you said?
I said your name is CP. It means child porn, Habibi. You should know this.
Do you want me to insult your prophet?
Am I insulting my prophet?
Do you want to insult your prophet? You're insulting me. Are you asking me to insult your prophet? Are you asking me? Are you in the corner? That's why you're insulting me now? CP is a child porn. Okay, let's talk about porn. Well, Muhammad is what? Is the moderate a porn master. Your prophet is the one who described the vagina of the women for you. See how listen. So now you start insulting me. I was speaking to you nice, and now because you are in the corner, you can't answer. Your God Allah is the time, and your prophet says Allah is the time. Same time you said to me that Allah, when He says 1,000 years is one day for Allah equal to 1,000 years, is not 24 hours. So your prophet was a liar, because your God Allah, Muhammad, he said when Allah He created the earth and the heaven, He created the dust in Saturday. Was that the day for Allah?
No, this is, I think this is what you're talking about is Hadith al-Turba, right? Hadith al-Turba. Yeah, Hadith al-Turba has been weakened by Bukhari himself, my friend. It's attributed to Ka'b, but not Muhammad.
So it is weak now?
Yeah, because the Ka'b al-Ahbar, I mean, that's Bukhari said.
Okay, but this is in Sahih Muslim, first of all. So
yeah, exactly.
All right. So listen. So you Muslims, look, hold on. You see? So now, I am finding reference from your prophet in a Sahih Hadith, and now you make it weak. It's called Sahih Muslim. And then you say to me, yeah, exactly. In Muslim, when the Muslim they say authentic book, doesn't mean authentic, because Muslim they lie. So now, because this hadith prove that you are prove that you see you're a prophet. Okay, so when the author he put this hadith in the authentic book, listen. Okay, hold on. Is the hadith?
Go to Google right now. Go to Google.
Mr. Google, listen. Is the hadith about your God when He created Adam? He told him, "Finish me before the sun." He told him. Listen. He told Allah, "Finish me before the sunset." Is that a true hadith or fake hadith?
Okay. To answer this question, everybody go to Google, type Sahhat Hadith al-Turba. Yalla, go ahead and tell me.
Yalla, I have it in front of me. It says Sahih. I have it in front of me. It says in Sahih Muslim, and you are saying to me it's not Sahih.
Guys, if you're watching Christian Prince right now, go type Hadith al-Turba. Go type Hadith al-Turba. See this guy is lying to you or not. Very simple.
Who is the one who is saying it's not Sahih? Abdul, like you?
No, Bukhari and a lot of muhaddithin.
Al-Bukhari, he said this is not Sahih. Al-Bukhari, he said this is not Sahih.
Yeah, he didn't.
Okay. Can you show us?
Yeah, I can show you. There you go. I'll give you the. Do you want the source?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, there you go. I'll give it to you. Hadith al-Turba. There you go. Where do you want me to send it to you? Yalla, min al-tarikh.
No, just type the hadith for me. The one it says is da'if, and I will search it.
There you go. Here's Islam QA. There's a lot of hadith. See, I can send you all the hadith independently and the sources, but I can just send you the thing.
No problem. You are giving me Islamic question and answer. You did not give me Al-Bukhari.
Al-Bukhari is there, yeah.
No, my friend. Give me Al-Bukhari.
Okay, here, I'll give you Al-Bukhari.
Give me Al-Bukhari. Okay. This website, Sunnah.com, have Al-Bukhari. Give me the hadith it says from Al-Bukhari in Sunnah.com, it says this hadith is ضعيف.
قال الإمام البخاري.
Don't tell me قال الإمام البخاري. Show me the book of al-Bukhari saying what you are saying.
تاريخ الكبير, volume 1, page 413.
Listen,
go ahead.
No, give me the.
I sent it to you. There. Where is it? Here.
Where you are giving me the? Oh, okay, hold on. All right. All right. Lord have mercy. Let us see. Where is the book? You see what you're just giving me? You know, you Muslims are like kids. It says here, An Abu Huraira, etc. I opened the page you gave me, and here it says, تضعيف الحديث, etc. Al-Bukhari. Where Al-Bukhari he said? Nobody. I don't see it. Are you there? Where is the book of Al-Bukhari? Same here. It says it is Sahih according Imam Muslim, Ibn Habban, Ibn al-Arabi, Al-Anwar al-Kashafa, Al-Shaykh al-Albani. All of those, they say this is Sahih from the website you gave me. So look at this mad religion. The same stupid hadith. When they want, it is authentic. When they want, it's not authentic. The same website. The same website, they will say to you, some they say it is authentic and some they say it's not authentic. And this is why we Christian, we laugh at this religion, who they are not sure what is authentic and what is authentic, and then they say to us that Islam is a preserved. Because how that is a preservation for Islam if the most important teaching of Muhammad about how Allah created the earth and the heaven can be wrong and false, and can be true and it can be wrong in the same time. Either it's authentic or it's not. Same time Muhammad, he says, my nation will not agree upon something is invalid. So how the majority agree upon it? Isn't it this is your book and this is the website you gave me? Al-Albani, he approved it. Ibn al-Arabi, he approved it. Sahih Muslim, he approved it. All those books, and this is the website. You are the one who gave it to us. This is why we laugh at Muhammad. And here you notice always, anything will make a statement, or the second we see like an embarrassment statement from Muhammad, the Muslim in the speed of light, they deny it. This way, you cannot give them any proof, of anything, because one he will say to you it is accepted, the other one he will say to you is not accepted, because Islam is messed up religion. But who care what you say? What I have in front of me, it says Sahih, and even the website you gave me, those are the major scholars of Islam, they are saying Sahih. So this God, those Muslims are confused. Is day for Allah equal to 1,000 year, or it's equal to Saturday? Is it equal to 1,000 year, or it's equal to Sunday? And not only that, if you read the hadith carefully, you will see how stupid Muhammad is. Because what he just mentioned, in the Quran he says Allah created the earth and the heaven in 6 days. But if you count here the days he mentioned, you will notice that he start from Saturday. If you read with me carefully, this is Saturday. And then what is the last day? He finished the creation Friday. This is 7 days. But in the Quran it says Allah created the earth and the heaven in 6 days. He created the earth and the heaven and what is between them in 6 days. If we calculate it from Saturday to Friday, this is 7 days, and not only Friday, Friday afternoon. Not only Friday, Friday afternoon. And Allah, Adam, he spoke to Allah, he says, finish me before the sun set, O Allah. And this is in Ibn Kathir. And this is a Sahih hadith. When I asked him, when Adam, he said, oh, finish me, O Allah, before the sun set, he refused to answer. When we speak about Allah or commanding the Muslim to fight 1 to 10, he said this is relative. Who care? If Allah is God and he says one person, you will fight 1 billion, you will win. Because if God is with me, who could be against me? You are not going to win because of your power. But obviously, the Quran proving to us that this is a shish kebab hummus. Muhammad, he saw a vision, and he told them before they go to war that the number of the enemy will be little. And this guy, if he call me back, he will quote the hadith for us, which will make Muhammad look so stupid. He told them, tomorrow when you go, you will find a few to fight you. They went there. They found a big number. And they came to him back to him and he says, hey, you told us there's going to be few. So everything he say, it turned to be wrong. He claimed to be a prophet, and now he's trying to fix it. Why Allah need to fix this if this is in the beginning written in the book of destiny? In the book of destiny, Allah billion year ago he wrote that one of you can fight 10. 100 can fight 1,000. Then in the book of destiny, few hours after, Allah he wrote again, now Allah he found a weakness for you, so he enlightened your task. That is hilarious. And how they explain that? They say to you, this is relative. This is what? This is relative. What relative? And the second you make them upset, they start saying to you, CP, does that mean it's child porn? Look who's talking about child porn. Their prophet, he have sex with a child, and the coward, he dare to call me child porn. I mean, aren't you ashamed even to open such a topic? Let us talk to the child porn then, as long as you mention this topic, trying to insult me. You brought insult to your prophet. When Jabir was coming home, Muhammad, he asked Jabir, hey Jabir, why you are in rush? Huh? He says, I got married. I said, get married? Ah. Did you get married from a child? So she can play with you and you can play with her, Mr. Child Porn? Mr. Child Porn, do you hear me? Jariya tula'ibuha? Your prophet is encouraging a man who is growing man. He just came with him from the fight, from the war, to go and fight a child, and then the guy, he says to him, well, you know what, my father, he died and he left me 7 children, they are orphans, so I choose to marry a woman instead of marrying a child like them. Correct? And look here, by the way, there is something very funny. Maybe Mr. Terror, he can join us if he did not run away. Here you see that Muhammad, he warned Muslim that no Muslim come back home. No Muslim can come back home unless at night. He have to send somebody before the night, and he don't go there. He tell his wife that I am coming home. They ask a sheikh, his name Al-Qaradawi, why he is doing that. Why? What is the point? He said, well, what if you came home and you find your wife, she have a boyfriend? Imagine you are coming home to town. You are not allowed at night. You are not allowed to go to the house, your house. The excuse of Muhammad, it says, read with me carefully. Then when we arrived, we were about to enter, he said, wait, so that we may enter by night, i.e. the evening, in order that the women with this disheveled hair may comb and comb it, and the women those husband has been away may get herself ready for the husband enjoyment. It's a false excuse. And all the Muslim clerics agree that the reason for that, you don't want to go home and your wife should not know. And suddenly she know that you are out of town, and now you come back home, you open the door, you find a boyfriend with her. And what is the excuse? So she can comb her private part. Have you ever heard of a prophet like this before? And the same for the story of Mr. Jabir. Jabir, he have a bunch of orphans in his house, and Muhammad was encouraging him to have a child as a wife. And this guy, he called me, he said CP porn. CP mean child porn. You are very creative, my friend, but thank you for your insulting your prophet. Join us back if you dare. You are just a potato.